So today I wanted to quickly talk to you guys about taking care of weeds and weed control. So now that we're into the beginning of July and most of the plants are starting to get up to size, there's very little weeding to be done, but you still need to keep on top of it. And one of the tools that I like to use is called a oscillating hoe officially. It's also known as a stirrup hoe and scuffle hoe, so it has many different names, but this particular one is one I found at a antique store slash secondhand store, and it's a little unique from some of the ones that you may see currently. And those that know what these look like, you'll notice right away that this part of the blade here of the hoe is rather flat, and most of them are a little bit curved downward. And I find this to be, very usable and glides over the surface of the soil much easier, and does a better job. Easier to maintain a cutting edge on a flat surface than it is on a rounded surface. So anyway, you can use either one. This is commercially very useful tool. It's very fast. It does one job very well, and that's to go across the surface of the soil and to either uproot if it's a small plant, or slice off the top of plants fairly low down, right below the soil surface, and that usually is enough to kill them off. So one of the first things in the spring that I like to do to keep weeds under control is to lay down 6 mil black plastic over the top of my beds after I prep them, do whatever kind of surface preparation, lifting up, surface tilling to get all the beds worked over to be a good consistency of the soil, and any kind of amendments I want to add at that point. And then I usually add a layer of compost, which is a defense in and of itself against weed germination. And if I lay black plastic over that, that will kill, or actually it will encourage weed seeds to germinate, because there is a warm, moist environment where they like to germinate. But since there's no light and there's a lot of heat right there, a lot of times they'll die off really quickly, unless they're really hardy or something. There was a taproot or something, and sometimes they can push up. But that's a good way to kind of make a, called a stale seed bed. So as you can see, my plants are up fairly high, and some of them are shading some of the weeds out. Depends on what type of plant they are. Most of my cole crops, such as broccoli, cauliflower, kohlrabi, etc., have large leaves right now, so they're shading out a lot of the weeds. But get purslane coming up in here, and other little weeds coming up. So I have to maybe once a week, maybe every other week, come out here and do some weeding. So go along with my oscillating hoe here and shear off any of the weeds that are coming up, usually just in the paths. If there are some in the beds, then I'll go ahead and weed that as well with this. This is a very nice hoe for weeding around plants, because you can see it's rounded on the edges, so you can get real close to the plants without harming them, and you can get in there and get real close without damaging the plants, and get those weeds out very easily. You can also see where your edge of your blade is, so you know exactly how close you're getting. So this is kind of how it works. You just kind of place it on the ground like this, and it has a cutting blade forward and reverse, so you get double action on here. As I pull backwards, the plants are sheared off like that one just was, and as I go forward, the plants are also sheared off too. And if the one's tough, I just go back and forth a few times over it to make sure it gets off, and I can quickly just go down the path and go around the plants and also in the path here very quickly. This lane is a persistent one, but it comes out extremely easy with this hoe. Shuffle back and forth and clean off all the weeds in the path so you can quickly go through and do that. So the only downside to this type of a hoe is that it isn't particularly strong, so if you start to beat on stuff with it, you'll end up usually breaking the handle because the wood that goes into the collar usually has to be fairly thin in order to fit in here on something like this. This is actually a replacement handle. I'm actually made much longer than it was before, so this goes up almost 7 foot, about 6'8" or so. So I find this is a piece of maple that I got just out of our forest, and just started to shave this down until it got to the right diameter and shape, and shoved it in there and set a screw in there to hold it. So it's fairly easy to get a new handle for this thing. The original one was broke fairly quickly after I was trying to learn the limits of it, but of course it was also a very old handle and was kind of rotting away anyway, so it wasn't as strong as a new handle would be. So anyway, I usually, for something stronger like that, like blackberries or big tufts of grass, for those type of things I usually use a Maddox or a pick. Something like that works really well for that. So anyway, it's a very good tool. I just wanted to recommend it to you. Great for country living and for maintaining a garden or a small farm by hand. Doesn't require any fuel besides oatmeal in the morning. So, alright, God bless, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.